All right, guys, welcome back to another awesome episode of the I Know You Hear Me podcast. And I'm just going to go ahead and jump right into it because I'm still trying to process that it's been a year since I've not only talked to this guy, but since we've been at the last ICC convention. It blows my mind that it's already been a year, but like this guy said before we started today,
All right,
time
brother.
flies when you're
My
building
dog came to
bonds.
visit.
And I will never turn down a fur baby jumping in. But guys, it is my pleasure to have on the show again Michael Havens. Michael, man, thanks for taking time to be here.
Thanks for having me on, Flynn. I appreciate it. And thanks for always supporting the show, man.
Oh,
And
dude, of
congrats,
course.
dude. I see you're turning into a world champion on my hands, man.
I'm trying. I'm trying. I don't feel like I'm doing enough, but my wife has to rein me back in sometimes and say, "Hey, you're doing too much." But man, I love what I'm doing and I love the opportunities. And not only that, I love getting to support another, local Nashville guy that's making big waves, doing such awesome things.
Thanks, brother. I appreciate it. Yeah.
Of course.
100% locally owned and operated ICC Con. But
Absolutely.
yeah, man, no, I appreciate I'm just glad we get to do it, man.
Yeah.
You know,
And
people like you, there's a million different parts of this thing. And without people like you, I mean, you do the podcast stage and stuff like that. And without
absolutely.
everybody pitching in, it wouldn't happen, man. And it's
It,
really cool because it's just a bunch of nerds that
yeah.
none of us know what we're doing. I
Right,
mean,
right. And it's like parenting. Like, you think I know what I'm doing? I'm just winging it, and
yeah,
so far nothing's gone wrong. Knock on
yeah,
wood.
here we are.
Exactly. But man, it's so cool because, like you said, it's a bunch of nerds that are getting together and getting to nerd out over this stuff that we love so much that back when I was growing up in middle school, this is stuff that you didn't really get to be open about unless you got made fun of, or you
Right.
found a closeted group of friends that like the same stuff. But now that we're adults and we have access to money, it's like, give me more. I want
It's
more of
everywhere,
this.
man. It's everywhere for sure. Yeah.
Oh man, but the best thing about it too is you started this convention from a fan's perspective, and it seems like every year it's gotten bigger and bigger. And this will be the fifth year of it. Which,
Yeah, this is the fifth ICC Con for sure. Yeah,
if
man.
you want to, put it in terms of like let's go the original trilogy for example, it's number 5. It's Empire Strikes Back, and this year's
Yep.
looking to be the biggest year yet. And I mean, last year was huge with the guests that you had, but man, you're pulling some of my favorite Star Wars. You're pulling the voices that brought these people to life in with Star Wars Rebels, man. So what was your idea to go that route this year?
Well, what I wanted to do is I always want to make it a bigger, better show. That's the hook,
Mm-hmm.
man. But you also can't make it you can't go too crazy because then there's not enough people for the guest stars, and then the guest stars get
Yeah.
upset, and then the people get upset because they don't have enough money to afford all the autographs they want. And
Right.
so it's a real fine line that you got to run when you're doing a
Yep.
con. But no, what I wanted to do this year is I wanted to go bigger. So the way I went bigger, hold on one second. Hey, what are you eating? Hold on. A little
No
troublemaker
worries.
fur baby. Actually, it's nothing bad. He can be bad and eat that. He had a bone on the floor here, so
Ah, living the
sorry
life.
about that, Flynn. Look at
You're
how
fine. You're fine.
unprofessional I am. I told you we don't know what we're doing.
Exactly. We just wing it. It's like wrestling. We call it in the ring, and whatever happens, happens. It was meant to
That's
happen.
right. But no, what happened is we had the Clone Wars folks last year. Yeah, I'm
Mm-hmm.
sure you met the Clone Wars folks, and we had them all on the stage, and then we had them signing autographs, taking photos, and stuff like that, and they were great. But you can't have the same people all the time,
Right.
because a lot of our attendees are local folks. I mean, we're local. A lot of our attendees are local
Mm-hmm.
folks. A lot of the other conventions, the ones, they usually move from city to city.
Yeah.
So they can contract like 35 guest stars and then just put on 12 conventions across America. It's much easier. It's easier to duplicate than it is to just do a new one every time. But
Exactly.
with the new one every time, we get to always surprise people and they
Yeah.
don't see what's coming. And that's what I think makes it special. It's almost like a Disneyland, except it gets rebuilt every year.
Mm-hmm.
So it's different stuff, which is really cool. And you could always see the old favorites, Pirates
Oh
of the
yeah.
Caribbean, but there's new attractions and new things every single year.
For
So
sure.
that's what we're going for. So what I did is for the Clone Wars folks, I was like, you know what? The Rebels. I love the Rebels.
Yes.
Um, so I started doing this thing, man. But the problem with the Rebels is it's 5 people.
Yeah.
And the thing is like three of them are crazy famous for stuff that has nothing to do with Star Wars.
Mm-hmm.
So
That's the
it's
truth
like
of it.
really hard to be like, I'm doing a Rebel show. I'm sorry, man. I know. The dog, dude. His name is Captain Rex. He's a Tyrannosaurus Rex. He's a
Oh,
maniac.
fantastic. I love
Yeah,
it.
I
I
don't even
love
know
it.
what to do with him, but he's a good dog most of the time.
Oh, for sure.
But so we had the Rebels. So we had the Clone Wars, and then we brought in the Rebels. But the Rebels, because it's 5 people, it's tougher.
Oh, yeah.
But we have checked all the boxes. We have all 5 of the Rebels, so the entire Ghost crew will be reuniting for the first time. Shoot, I don't know since when, but a very long time.
As far as I know, I got to go ahead and give you credit for that. I think this is the first time, at least in any convention that I've seen, that they will all 5 be together, because the
Yeah.
last time, my first celebration, 4 of them were there, but Steve Bloom, who we'll come back to in a moment, wasn't there. And I met him in person finally later in the year, instead of just being computer screen to computer screen. But this is the first time that I can recall all 5 being together at once. And they were kind of vocal about that at Celebration back in 2019. So I think you pulled the rabbit out of the hat.
Thanks, man. Well,
Of
the thing
course.
with Steve Bloom there, man, he that's one of those people I'm talking about where
Yep.
he's crazy famous for everything except Star Wars. He also happens to play Zeb Aurelius.
Yep. Of
Um,
course.
but dude, he's like 8 million different anime characters, like
Mhm.
all this different stuff, and I had no idea because I'm trying to call him, being like, "Hey, man, can you come be Zeb?" And like, it was a funny story, man. I made the graphic for him because I make all the graphics for the people to put up
Nice.
on the website, and I make the graphic for him, and I sent it over, and it's got a big old picture of Zeb on it, and 1 second. Sorry, my phone's ringing off the hook too, man. I
He's a busy
apologize.
man, guys. He's a busy,
One
busy
second.
man.
Yeah, no, that's the convention manager, Philip, there. So I'm sure he has a question for me, but he doesn't know I'm on a live stream here. So what happened is, so Steve Bloom, so I send him the graphic, and he looks at it. It's like this really cool graphic, big picture of Zeb, and he's there, like, yeah, and he's like, there's you got to change this, man. And he's like super nice about it, but he's like, like everybody's gonna come see me for like 10 million other things that aren't
Right.
Zeb, and I'm
Right.
like, oh well, I just like Zeb, so. But it's really funny, and so he messed with it. Well, his agent messed with it and stuff, and sent it back to me, and then I looked at it, and he's like, from anime, that guy, I don't even know their names because I'm not an anime guy, but for everybody that enjoys it, they're the dude with the gigantic sword, you know that one,
You're
where it's
putting
like
me when I'm on
12
the
foot.
spot. I draw a blank, but
Yeah, no, and there's also like Cowboy Bebop. He's a dude
yes,
from that, and so a whole bunch of this different stuff. And I'm sitting, he's Scorpion from Mortal Kombat. I mean,
Wolverine.
and yeah, people love it. And I had no idea. So it was really funny because he sent back the graphic. Well, his agent sent back the graphic, and it's just filled with all these characters. And I'm like, I know that one, I know that one, I
Yeah.
know that one, but I had no idea because I've been so hyper focused on Zeb.
Right. Right.
I'm trying to check off the Rebels crew.
And
Um,
Zeb was my introduction to his world of characters too. And you mentioned the anime right before we opened the chat here. I got an email saying that it's the 25th anniversary of Cowboy Bebop, and that's
yep,
probably the thing that people know him for the most. So I mean, it's
which
crazy
is
how
crazy.
you figure out one voice and then you start seeing it everywhere, and it's like, oh, I do know that guy.
I didn't know it was the 25th anniversary of Cowboy
I
Bebop.
didn't either. I didn't either.
Well,
But
look at that, Flynn. You just gave me another blog post. Thanks, buddy.
yes. See, I'm good for
Come
something.
join the 25th anniversary of Cowboy Bebop with Steve Bloom.
Right. Oh man, but yeah, like it's amazing though that you get this group of people, and like you said, they're all busy doing stuff. You got another guy, like, because people that follow me know that Steve was my original voice coach to get into voiceover, and that guy opened up so many doors and probably doesn't even know it. But then like you get Freddie Prince Jr. too, who, as you
Well,
and I
there's
were
another
talking,
one. Look at how crazy that is. It's like,
yeah,
oh, Kanan Jarrus. I mean, like 50% of even the Star Wars community doesn't know who Kanan Jarrus is, let alone who
right.
plays him. And all of a sudden, it's Freddie Prince Jr.
And my
You know?
wife, for example, doesn't care about that, but she cares about Freddie Prince Jr. So now she wants to come to the convention.
Yeah,
So,
exactly. But
but
that's what's wonderful with these
yeah,
Rebels. I really got lucky because I was hyper focused, going, I want to replace Clone Wars with Rebels. And the thing is it was like, but also you get all these extra amazing things. Like I remember that was James Arnold Taylor, from last
yeah,
year and a bunch of years. But James Arnold Taylor was one of those where it's like, man, just to fit the characters he has in the little picture that I make is impossible.
right.
Hundreds of them. Yeah.
It's
So
insane.
It's really wild. These folks really, they bring so many things to life that we don't really realize. So I wanted to do that because I have a massive appreciation for voice actors. I have
Mm-hmm.
a massive appreciation for cartoons. Some of the cartoon work for Star Wars is some of the best Star Wars ever created.
Yes, it's
Um,
100% true.
yeah, and
100%
a
true.
lot of people look at it and they go, "Oh, a cartoon, I don't watch cartoons." But give it a shot.
Yeah,
If you don't give it a shot, you're not going to know what the heck's going on in Mandalorian.
exactly.
Like, I
And
mean, it's you could tell it's going on. No
yep.
spoilers, but
And
you
that's
could
kind
tell
of
what's happening.
something I wanted to ask you too, because it's a chance to talk fan to fan. And no spoilers, like you said, but with all these characters that are now coming into the live action realm, like what is that like for you as a fan? And then also seeing that they're keeping either the voice actor that brought this character to life as the live action character or the voice for it. What is that like to you, especially with all this material that we're getting now?
Um, well, from a convention promoter standpoint, to be honest, man, and also a Star Wars fan standpoint, I kind of wish they would stop making super famous people Star Wars famous people.
Yeah,
Because they're already unattainable. I mean,
right.
no spoilers, but I'm not gonna run into Jack Black at the grocery store. You
Yeah,
know what I
exactly.
mean?
Yeah,
He's not gonna come out and sign autographs at a convention. He's a gazillionaire.
right, right.
And if you make a gazillionaire a Star Wars person, then that person's never going on a Star Wars picture, unless it's somebody like stands out there by the restaurant all night and then gets them to like sign something. I mean, which
Right.
hey, autograph hunters, I salute you, man. Do you? But
Braver than I am to
uh,
stand out there for that.
yeah, fans in bulk are never going to have the opportunity to meet him. And that was
Right.
what was always wonderful about Star Wars, man. I mean, Harrison Ford, granted, Harrison Ford exploded, but
Mm-hmm.
he started off, he was like fixing the deck, and they were like, read
Yeah.
this. He's like, okay. You know, Carrie Fisher was so down to earth and such a wonderful person.
Yeah.
And I mean, I think her autograph, even at the end, was like $60. You know what I mean? Which is
Same.
like
Yeah.
free. Um, and stuff like that. Even Mark Hamill. I mean, Mark Hamill wasn't Mark Hamill before Luke Skywalker.
Mm-mm.
I mean, if Mark Hamill had his wonderful career after like that he had since Luke Skywalker, and then he was Luke Skywalker, it would have been like, oh, you're never gonna ever get to meet Luke Skywalker ever. I mean, it's already practically impossible nowadays because he's gone so big. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? There's
Got
really, honestly, the
Joker,
only reason why
everything.
he ever comes out or signs anything is just because he's a nice guy. I
Yeah.
mean, he doesn't have to ever. Uh, but that's what happens. And the thing is we're happy as Star Wars fans to, I don't know, make famous the Wedge Antilles of the world. You know what I
Yes.
mean? Like we
Mm-hmm.
like the other characters, the side characters that have wonderful parts that are crucial,
Yep.
and all that kind of stuff. And they kind of, I don't know, man. Like you remember how like the biker scout in Mandalorian, the first season or
Yeah.
whatever,
Yeah. Yeah.
was like
Yeah.
punching Baby Yoda.
Yep.
Well, that biker scout ended up being Paul Rudd. Now,
Yeah.
I mean, that's fun, but you can never have the biker scout that punched Baby Yoda, which is a fun autograph, a
Right.
fun picture, and should be any random dude, and it should cost $20. But it's not. It's Paul Rudd. It's like $450 or something. And then you're
Ugh.
like, all right, well, do I want Ant-Man or do I want the one time he punched Baby Yoda for a
Yeah.
gag? That's my problem when they give away Star Wars roles to people they owe something to or they want something from or they, you know what I mean? It's
Mm-hmm.
takes me out of that magic of the world.
I
That's what I
understand
love
that.
about Rebels. Rebels is brand new characters. That's what I love about all Star Wars
Yeah.
is the brand new characters. I mean, even when they came out with TFA and stuff, and even though that whole cycle went like this, but
Right. Right.
when they came out with TFA, man, I mean, nobody knew who Daisy Ridley was.
Yeah.
Nobody knew who, even Kylo, man, Adam Driver, he was an accomplished actor, but
Right. But his name wasn't
mainstream
that well
humans
known.
didn't know him, you
Yeah.
know? And that's what I think Star Wars is and what it should be. So as far as being a fan, am I excited that they're yes, dude, I am fired up beyond belief that they're gonna tell us what happened
Yes.
after Ezra and
Oh
Thrawn
man. Yes.
at the end of Rebels. Because
Mm-hmm.
man, my favorite of all time, you met him. Timothy Zahn has come to the con
Yep.
a bunch of times.
Oh yeah.
And my favorite of the Zahn books, man. And that was Grand Admiral Thrawn and all this stuff that's finally coming real. And
Mm-hmm.
those books came out it was after the late 80s, early
Yeah.
90s, and it was when there was no Star Wars anything. There were no
Yep.
movies, no TV show, no toys, no nothing. And all of a sudden, Timothy Zahn dropped the Heir to the Empire trilogy, which, man,
Absolutely.
is some of the best Star Wars in the history of the world.
Facts.
And
Facts.
those characters to not only, man, I was so excited when those characters became cartoons. But once those characters started turning into, man, once Grand Admiral Thrawn is being talked about as possibly being live action cast, now they're putting their bar up here for me. I
Yep.
mean, I don't know how they're going to pull it off, but there's
Right.
a hair out of place. I'm going to have a problem with it. Grand
Yeah.
Admiral
Oh,
Thrawn is
yeah.
my favorite, you know? And, but just the sheer fact that he's coming possibly to live action could be,
Absolutely.
I don't know, awesome, man.
Yeah.
So I'm happy there's always new Star Wars. I'm always happy there's stuff we can talk about. I am
Yep.
happy that the Rebels are getting more attention because I think that people really have to watch some cartoons. As
Yeah.
crazy as it is, man. Batman from the 90s.
Yep.
Remember Batman from the 90s? That's like some
Oh
of the
yeah.
best TV ever.
That it is. And I'll go to my grave on that.
That's like my favorite Batman.
And
Well, I don't know. Keaton's pretty awesome.
yeah, and I mean, like you put it up there, Kevin Conroy and Mark Hamill, Batman and Joker, they can go up against any live action adaptation you've got, and
Yep.
it's just good stuff. And I'm gonna speak from experience. I was a little slow getting into Rebels. I was late to the party, but man,
Yeah.
once I jumped in, guys, I was hooked. So if you haven't yet, because I still see
Well,
it on
that's the thing.
I
If you
still
give it a
see,
shot, it'll
yeah.
get you there. Yeah.
And I mean, it takes a lot of the original concepts that Ralph McQuarrie came up with and puts it on screen, which is
Yeah, which
another
is
cool
cool.
thing. But
Yeah.
going back to Rebels, there's another guy that was at the convention last year who I'm excited to see is coming back, and he got brought back into the Disney franchise for not only the Rise of Skywalker, but also in Rebels and many other things. You're bringing Ian McDermott, the Emperor himself, probably the best character in the franchise, in my opinion, back to the convention. What's it like to have such a big guest like that coming back and being a part of this again as it expands?
Well, the thing is, man, is he is so massive, but we actually became like legit friends last year,
Yeah.
which was crazy because I'm a real Star Wars nerd, man. I mean, like,
Right.
look around me.
Oh yeah.
I'm a Star Wars nerd. And he even came into my collection room and like looked
Wow.
around, and it's like the emperor of the universe. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like we went to Graceland, and my favorite emperor story to tell is because he's so down to earth and such a kind person. So we're
Mm-hmm.
driving to Graceland and we stop in the middle of nowhere for gas, right? So out hops the emperor at some random gas station. And you know some of the gas stations between here and
Oh yeah.
it's like there ain't nothing there,
Nope.
and I wouldn't eat like a bag of Doritos from there because you know
Yeah.
it's 600 years old. Uh, but anyway, so he rolls in, and his agent's there and whatever, and he walks up to a case and he grabs a tuna sandwich. I go, you don't want to eat that. I go, let me go take you somewhere nice. We'll go get something nice for lunch.
Yeah.
No, this is what I want. You don't want to eat that. You know, you try to convince him, whatever.
Right. Right.
So
Right.
anyway, he split the tuna sandwich with his friend there, his agent,
Oh
and they both ate half a tuna sandwich from a truck stop. I wouldn't even eat there, man, but they were so cool. You know what I mean? Like, how
yeah.
down to earth are you that it's just no big deal? You're like, yeah, it's all right. And then it was funny because later that night, still, this is my cheap date with Ian McDermott. So later in the night, we're coming back from Memphis, and I'm like, all right, let's, want to go to a steakhouse or something like that. He's like, you know what I'd really like? And I go, sure, what? Anything, whatever you want. Nashville's got all this great food.
Right.
Sure, go top shelf. And he goes, Cracker Barrel. And
Wow.
I'm
Would
like,
not have
all right,
expected
man,
that.
fine. And he got the meatloaf. So the emperor's
Oh,
really
that's
cool, man.
awesome.
And you would think he would be like, bring me my creme brulee and my monocle, but he is so not. He's like
That's
really
so
nice.
awesome. That is
And
so awesome.
yeah, that's why he's definitely coming back this year, and that's just because he's absolutely wonderful, and he's like a gigantic guest star that like
Yeah.
picks up the phone for me, which is cool.
And I think on top of that too, right after the convention last year, this is the one thing that will always jump out to me. I'd missed you guys like just by like a minute at Galaxy's Edge after dark, and you guys went viral in the cantina as he's walking by, does the hand gesture for the lightning, and then just out you go. Man, and it's so cool to hear that he's this big celebrity, but he's so down to earth and just like
Dude,
one of us. It's
the
so
only
awesome.
reason why I was there is I was in at Celebration. He's like, oh hey Mike, you got to come to Galaxy's Edge with us tonight. We got these tickets. And I was like, okay. And
Yeah.
it was awesome, dude, because it was like you're in behind everything. You're with the Emperor. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? I literally sat on Rise of the Resistance, and the Emperor sat right here. His first time ever riding Rise of the
That's
Resistance. We're going
insane.
under the AT-ATs, dude, and he's like, I can't believe this got so big, just like
Yeah.
that. And I was like, this is so cool, man. It's freaking emperor. And I'm trying to, just be a normal human and like
Right.
not be like, oh my God, take a picture selfie. And I have no pictures, but I have one picture where we're standing, where all the stormtroopers lined up
Yeah.
at the beginning and where we're standing in front of that, which is cool,
Oh, dude, that is so
But
awesome.
it was a trip, man. It was a trip. And it was funny because they should have prepped them. But you know how they bust your hump, the Imperials in that
Yeah.
run. All right, so they were like busting his hump and stuff, and they should have, if somebody would have looked and connected and been like, "Holy, that's the Emperor," because what was he? He's like on the Star Destroyer.
Right.
It's like what? But that
That's
was a trip,
amazing.
man. Galaxy's Edge, and that's because he was a sweetheart. And then we went out
Yeah.
and we ate. What do we have that night? The Brazilian steakhouse, because they never did that before. Where you flip over the card and
Yeah.
it's red, and you say green, go meat, and they really
Oh,
dug.
wow. Man, you guys lived it up out there.
But yeah, man, I was just there as an attendee, and we stopped by
Right.
just to say hi, and then it snowballed from there. Because, dude, I don't know, man. This convention is different. The guest stars even have a good time.
Yep. And
You
that's the
know?
thing too. Like you said, I hate to use the word corporate, but it's not corporate. It's there for the fans. And the fact that that is part of the structure of this convention just makes it so fun and so contagious for everybody.
Yeah.
Because granted, you're running around like crazy because you're running the convention, but you're still having fun. You're getting to enjoy it. You're seeing these thousands of people that are enjoying it. And it's contagious. That's the only way I can think to say it.
Yeah, man, it's really given me the opportunity for a lot of smiles and a lot of enjoyment and a lot of magic creation. Um,
Absolutely.
I don't know, man, even just some of the merch or the items or the giveaways or the trophies or things like that. I mean, we were able to give a whole bunch that shooting happened down here at the school,
Yep.
and we were able to give a whole bunch of tickets to them. And those are things that we're lucky enough to be able to do because
Absolutely.
of what this thing has grown into. I mean, shoot, man, 5 years ago that would have been like double the attendance.
Right.
But
And that
now it's like, oh, no problem. We can take another 500. But
mhm.
those kind of things have put me in the position. I don't know, man. Life is tough. And one of the toughest things is not being able to do something when you feel bad about something.
Yeah,
And luckily, with this platform, a lot of times I'm able to actually do something.
absolutely.
Um, so it's really nice. Plus, dude, you know how it is, man. Like you walk around and it's like everybody's smiling
Yep.
and everybody's happy and everybody's having fun and everybody's being nice to each other, and like the guest stars are able to walk around and not be like, hey dude, sign this, blah blah blah. It's
Yeah.
like, hey, how you doing? This is a Boba Fett. You know what I mean? Like
Hmm. They get
it's
to be
just
fans
different.
again too.
Yeah. If you
And
ever go down to the bars or something, I mean, if you're ever at even the hotel bars and stuff, there's always like guest stars just chilling.
yeah.
I mean, I remember we had a whole bunch of stormtroopers, and I remember they came to me, and I was like, "Don't tell me these things." But it was it was 2019 show, and it was like 3 or 4 stormtroopers, and one of the guys that is a volunteer at the con was like, "We're going downtown, man. We're gonna have fun." And they went downtown, and they went, the axe throwing, right?
Yep.
So
Oh
they got a
boy.
whole bunch of my guest stars like drinking beers and throwing axes, and I'm like, man, come on, man, like let's be a little bit more careful. There you go, Rex. Say hi to the people of the world. Say I am
Oh,
your
that's a handsome boy. That's a
unprofessional, but
handsome
I'm
boy.
cute. See, spoiled dog. Go on,
Making
buddy.
his interview debut.
Down. That's it.
But
You're
and
famous now.
something that you mentioned though, and it's something I wanted to reference too, and just give you
Yeah.
your flowers on the tragic shooting that happened here
Yeah.
at the Covenant School, and you having this platform to be able to reach out and offer them a something bright and positive in this still ongoing negative and dark time, man. It's just I can't say how awesome that is enough, and how proud it makes me to even be a media guest and be a part of this convention at all. It's so awesome to
Well,
use that
you're able to
platform to
bring
give
those
back.
smiles too, man. I mean, you're
Absolutely.
you're as much as it is, you're an attraction, brother.
Ah,
But
man, I'm still
yeah,
trying to
it's
process that part.
but that's the thing, man. It's all the different stuff that we can do, whether it's the cosplayers that come,
Yeah,
the different ones. I mean, man, the innocence of a child is easily lost with a situation
absolutely.
like that.
Yep.
And if we have the ability for 5 minutes or 5 seconds to make them completely forget and
Mhm.
remember that they are kids, then man, it's worth. it's worth every loss I've ever taken. And a lot of times we're able to do that, and that's just because of the support we've had, the local support, people like you, other folks that talk about this convention have made it so large that now we can do things like that, and it's not like gonna ruin us, because that was the biggest problem, man. I was talking to Ricky down here, and he's, the Darth Vader that always comes. He's
Oh yeah.
and stuff, but he's awesome. He's like, if you ever want to check out our Darth Vader, we got the good one.
Yeah, you do.
But he's
amazing.
like, whoa, and like legit looks like Darth Vader. And he talks. Have you ever heard him talk as Darth Vader?
I haven't heard him talk. I've taken a picture with him, but I hadn't heard him talk.
Next time you go up there, talk to him, because that is him. There is no voice box.
Wow.
He does it all himself, and he sounds like dead on.
Oh, that's
but anyway, so I'm talking to Ricky, and we're like, oh, we should do something. What can we do? And because he's always nice, and he's like the cosplay, and I'm like, well, I don't know if cosplay is best for security reasons right now for them, and just for some Darth Vader's kind of scary. I mean, that's
right.
But so maybe that wouldn't be best. And I'm like, well, let's do, we can maybe do a charity thing where we raise some money for him. And he's like, yeah, that's a great idea, man. I'm down. And then I'm like, well, all right, but what do we raise money for? I mean, it's a very odd, horrible, terrible thing that, like, you can't just even throw money at it to make it better.
No, unfortunately.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like, usually it's like, oh, the tornadoes came through. All right, run a fundraiser, and then we'll give money to tornado relief.
We can go to build this house or whatever it may be.
Simple steps to make it better for whomever's affected, and there weren't any. So, man, it took me 3-4 days to even think of this. And then what happened is my buddy was driving down from out of town for the funerals for that. Because his kids went to that school before they moved out of town. And he's always been a supporter of the IC and ICCC and stuff like that. And I was like, I floated it by him. I'm like, your kids used to go to that school, right? And he's like, yeah, they did. I'm going, well, if you know anybody, I go, don't bother them now, because I don't want to, they got plenty of stuff on their plate, and this isn't for 2 months. But don't bother them now. But just, do you think they'd be interested in that? And he's like, I'll talk to somebody today, because they're not involved like that, but it's okay, and they'll be able to make that decision. And then he talked to them, and they were like, that's so nice. I'd be so happy. And I was like, done. Because, yeah, man. I mean, dude, you've seen this thing. So if little kids get to walk through and they get to see, like, I don't know, a speeder bike or a Rogue One tank or
a droid.
Or a droid. Oh, dude, there are so many droid builders coming out, man. They're bringing a whole bunch of droids, and those are like the legit good ones.
Yeah, those.
That are like,
I've posted pictures of these things. They follow you around. Sometimes they sneak up on you. These things are legit, and they will put a smile on any kid's face.
And that's what I'm saying, man. We already have all that stuff right there, and it might not be something that crossed their minds, because I don't know, we got a lot going on right now. But if you got that free ticket sitting on the table, and you choose whether or not you want to use it, it's still there. And then maybe you just go, and it just, I don't know,
Yeah.
But whatever, dude. I don't know. I'm all
trust me, it gives them a chance to be a kid again, and get a little light back in their life. Maybe even open their doors to something that they never even knew about, and now they're a fan for life. It's just, there's so many positives that could come from that it's such a grand gesture that, I can't even tell you how many times I'm going to say that it's awesome, but it's absolutely awesome.
Well, I appreciate it, man. It's really not for that, dude. I just, I don't know. I know what I got here, man. It's, I'm a kid. That's why I love it. You're a kid. That's why you love
big kids with money. I mean, you can see behind me, I got a Star Wars voiceover booth, everything on the wall. It's just, it's big kids.
If we were all growing up, man, it'd be no fun. I got toys all over my desk, dude. Like,
exactly. And I got them right here off the camera. I'm looking at Boba Fett right here, but
that's what I'm saying. It's
just hold on to that childhood, because it's something magical. And if you ever lose it, I don't even want to know what that's going to be like.
Yeah.
But
if you ever lose it, come on out to ICC Con and get some of it back.
Yep. And if you're looking for a fix in between, I'll go ahead and give a plug now. It's going to be in the show notes. Go check out the ICC store too over in Donaldson. It's 5 minutes from my house, right across from my church. Man, choice location on Lebanon Road. You can't miss it. But speaking of Lebanon now, kind of awkward segue, but the convention has moved up to a part of Lebanon that I'm very familiar with, up near the fairgrounds and up at the Farm Bureau building.
Yep.
You have expanded this thing, because the hotel we were at last year, like you said, was just at capacity and then some. What went into, choosing this place and all the extra festivities like the parade and everything that's going to be going on there?
Yeah.
What helps you choose that?
Actually, tons went into it. I'm sorry, I'm not distracted at all. I'm trying to keep control of the dog.
No, you're good. You're good.
But no, what happened is a lot went into it, man. All right, so last year we had Saturday. It was total bonkers, nuts.
Oh yeah, around the building.
Around the building till like 1 o'clock. So we were unable to sell any more tickets at noon.
Right.
So we were sold out. And also there was just not enough room. The problem is we were it was a beautiful venue, man. You
Oh,
were
yeah.
there 2 years,
Oh yeah.
2 years ago, and it was perfect, but it was like in COVID, and there were like there were a couple thousand
Yeah.
people, but it wasn't like, dude, whatever happened last year, it was crazy.
Yeah.
And I think that's just because we finally got traction and we finally got noticed, and we
Right.
had some major guest stars. And
people were still looking to get back into, the normal swing of things too.
right. So it was like, holy moly, somebody's doing something. I actually forgot to wear my ring, but I have convention promoter of the year. I'll show you when I see
Oh,
it.
that's awesome.
But it's huge and chunky like a Super Bowl ring.
That is
And
awesome.
I got it for the convention in 2021 because it was during COVID and we
Yeah.
still did it. Remember, we were all masked up and we
Yep.
had those
Yep.
wands and the hand sanitizer everywhere.
Mhm.
But we did it and it went well and it was great. And then we went back to the same venue for the next year without the COVID rules, and everybody was like, "I'm coming."
Yeah.
And we had this. I got all the business centers around the place to let us use their parking lots for free parking.
Right. Oh
And
yeah.
like we had this trolley, man, and it like caught on fire in the first like 5 minutes. So we took like our
forgot about
Sprinter
that.
vans, two of
Yeah.
the Sprinter vans for guest stars, and we had our security going back and forth to that lot all day. And we made it happen. But then you would come in, and the venue was like made for weddings and real estate meetings and stuff. So
Mhm.
it's like, remember the giant ATST?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, we had to take like 6 inches off the legs because there was a giant chandelier there. You
Wow.
know what I mean? Like
Man.
it just wasn't built for this kind of stuff. But it
Right.
was great
Right.
for what we were doing because we were a smaller con that grew into a really big con like
Yeah.
so what we did is I started looking into a new venue. And what I could have done is I could have split it between two hotels there, but that's just more rooms. And people aren't going to get to both of them and they're far
Yeah.
away. So you go, all right, next up, you look at, I looked at, what's that one? The Metroplex or one, whatever, the big circle with all the chairs
Oh, what was it?
over
It's
on
not the
like West.
Music City Center, not that one.
No,
Municipal Auditorium.
Municipal Auditorium,
Yeah.
exactly. Yep. So I looked into that one and I was going to rent that one because it's nice and big. But the
Right.
problem is there's like 8 million seats. You know what I mean? Because it's like a basketball arena.
Yeah.
So it's not perfect. And I was like, well, and the problem is you have to hire not their security, but a approved security of theirs.
Right.
And
Yeah.
I'm not picking on security companies, but security companies tend to have the right insurance and a whole bunch of people that I wouldn't trust to like watch a glass of water.
I
They're
can second
usually
that from
not,
working with some of that. So
you know what I mean? Like
yeah.
it's usually not like anyone that's been in the military or the
Yeah.
law enforcement or anything like that.
Mhm.
And our entire security detail, because of the very famous people we have come in, they're like the same guys that like would drive around a congressman or
Yeah.
you know what I mean? They're like
Mhm.
serious individuals. And they wouldn't let us use our security there. And I can't get the level of guest stars I get
Right.
without
Top
my
notch
proper
security. Yeah.
security. Like I could if my name was like Disney or something and I was
Yeah.
selling
Yeah.
but my name is like Mike Havens and I live in Nolansville.
But hey, the security team you've got, those guys deserve all the props in the world because
They're amazing.
they went above and beyond last year. And I have no doubt that they're going to be doing that and then some this year. Those guys, like you said, they got the credentials, they got the background, and they're cool people to boot. So it's a perfect combo.
Well, they're all actual nerds, man. That's our entire security agency. It's like I collect Boba Fett, but I also happen to have the sniper record. You know,
I mean, that's a pretty good combo to have right there.
That's cool. But it's funny, man. We have Navy SEALs on there and stuff, and you never know to meet them because they'd be like, "Look at how cool this Lobot is."
Yeah.
And you're like, "Hey, man," they're like,
Laid back, not tight wound
"Yeah,
anything.
you never know." And it's just because they're nerds, but they also that's everybody that does this, man. We're
Yeah,
all just nerds that also happen to be very good at what we really do. We
exactly.
just
And
apply
it's
it to this. In real life, I have a trucking company and logistics brokerage. I just know how to do logistics. That's it.
right.
And that's all this is. It's a lot of logistics, but that's all
Oh,
it
I don't doubt it.
is.
I mean, like you said, it all comes back to that 3 letter word fun. Everybody's having fun doing it.
Yep.
And I think the coolest thing that I haven't really seen any cons around here do, or that I can think of, period, is that we're going to have a parade this year too. What kind of sparked the idea for that?
Well, we have so many cosplay folks, and I've got a big giant truck that's all glitzied out with ICCC logos. And you know what sparked it? Two things. Number one, we already have everybody for a parade and
Right.
cars and cosplay and whatever, all that stuff that you'd want to see anyway.
Oh, yeah.
But also the line. Even though we're able to move the line a lot quicker because we don't have the restrictions of a 16-foot hallway or
Yeah.
pillars or two doors between glass. You remember it was like an atrium.
Yep.
It was
Yep.
intended for weddings. Usually a wedding doesn't have 10,000 people through the front door.
Yeah. Sure doesn't. Not
They
mine
usually
anyway.
cut it off at like 300, so that's what
Right.
that place was built for. But no, so what happened is we have the line, and the line is it's always going to be there because there's so many people that come. We can move it really, really quick now, so that's good. So it'll move a lot quicker than it did last year, but it'll still be there. So I figure start the parade at the line and go backwards. So that way the people at the front of the line get to experience the parade. And by the time the people at the back of the line see the parade, they're probably already getting in. So,
Like it.
it'll,
Yeah.
and I figure it just takes what, 20 minutes, 30 minutes, and everybody walks around in a big
Yeah.
square, and then, they go back into the building, and then we all have a fun convention. So,
Oh man, I love that idea. That is an absolutely genius thing, especially too if you got kids that maybe, that don't like
yeah.
to wait in line or like to stand still. They get that, they get distracted, the line moves, next thing you know, you're in. Like that's a win. That's a win all
Well,
around.
that's the wonderful thing about this venue too. I bought a bunch of places. So there's like an outside train museum.
Yep.
There's also the Fiddler's Grove, which is an entire historic tiny town where they make you like bologna sandwiches and teach you how to like wire a broom and what a schoolhouse looked like in
Yep.
1820. It's cool, man. And all those things, they end up allowing people to spread out a bit more.
Yeah.
And when people spread out a bit more, you can get a lot more people.
Oh yeah.
So what we were looking at is I did look into the Music City Center. The Music City Center, the biggest problem with the Music City Center is I couldn't do the Music City Center and still provide a cost-effective
Right.
convention for the fans. The reason why is because parking is $45.
Yeah.
Parking at ICC comes free. We have a $25 you could pay if you want premier parking, which is like right at the front door, but that's just for lazy people like me. I prefer the option.
Depends on how much you buy. Smart thing though.
Yeah, exactly. But I mean, if I don't know, I prefer that option. If they're like, you want to go up front for $25, I'm like, yes.
Take my money now.
Usually the air show will give you one of those, because I always go to the Greater Tennessee Air Show, and you can buy this parking pass. It'll get you in like the front 2 rows instead of like way in the back on the tarmac and you're in the sun cooking.
Oh man, that sounds like a deal in my book.
Right, that's what I'm saying. And then, but no, we're gonna go all around there, and it allows for a lot more. I'm sorry, the dog is going.
No, you're fine. You're fine.
Pick it up on there. So unprofessional. But
I don't find it at all.
Yeah, no. But it will be it'll be bigger and better than it ever was. And what were we talking about before? It was before the parade. You had a question for me.
Just what led to the choice of the location?
Oh yeah. So Music City Center, $600 hotel rooms. And the problem is with the Music City Center is how the hotels get at night. Like everybody gets together and hangs out and parties and buys, sells, and trades toys. And there's like meetups and there's a whole bunch of stuff.
Yep.
And with downtown, especially across from the Music City Center, there is no like that's the hotel.
Yeah.
Like if it was like a normal convention center where it's like there's a Hyatt at the end of it, fine.
Right. That's
but
one
there
thing.
isn't. So it would spread all the attendees to different hotels. Plus, you'd get the ones that are like, well, I need to save money, so I don't want to stay at the $600 hotel, and they go stay at the Knights Inn for $60,
Yeah.
and you don't want anybody that you know staying there.
Right.
But you
Right.
know what I mean? Like, so I also don't want to put them in an unsafe place.
Yeah.
Even if they
Exactly.
choose to not go with the host hotel in Mount Juliet, they're going to be fine. You know what I
Right.
mean? Like, it's Mount Juliet.
And that's another thing too, is that, like you said, this last year was in a hotel. This time you've got 4 host hotels, so you're going above and beyond to, like you said, make sure they're getting in a nice, safe place,
Yeah.
but also making it plenty of room for them, convenient access to the
Because they
convention itself.
party at the hotels, man. Yeah,
Yeah.
convenient access. What we're doing this year, because it is a little bit out, but that's once again the Music City Center, man. I am not charging people $12 for a Coca-Cola. I will not do it. I'd rather shut the con off, and I'll do it here from this room on a live stream.
Right.
I will not charge you 12. That's insane. I just won't do it. I hate the way that you like can't afford anything at a convention, man. It's
Yeah.
why do you have to be a multimillionaire to attend a convention? I mean, like back in the day, Kenner had it perfect. They had the big Imperial shuttle for $60 for the rich kids. And then they had the mini rig PST8 or whatever that was like $5 and everybody could get it. And that should be the option. There should be the VIP option where you get food and drink and pizza, or not pizza, food and drink, lunches, ice cream, pie, stuff like that, early access, free day, the Friday is VIP only. All those things should be what a VIP package is. But a VIP package is usually you get in a half an hour early and here's your badge. And it's like, there's no food, there's no water, there's no access, there's no anything, there's no private day. And I don't think that's fair, but there should be the option for someone to get a VIP.
Yeah.
And there also should be the option for somebody to get a $45 ticket for a Sunday and then get a $10 ticket for their kids or bring their kids under, I think it's 5 for free.
Yep.
I mean, you could literally attend for like 50, 60 bucks.
It's cost effective.
It's cheap. Man, the Christmas lights, and don't get me wrong, I like the Christmas lights,
right?
But that's $50.
Yeah.
And you're driving through Christmas lights in a parking lot. So this con is less expensive than that. And shoot, man, we got a helicopter and live music and movie stars and some of the rarest toys in the world. And Flynn Hendricks rocking it out on the podcast stage.
Oh, that is 100% true. And I'm going to go ahead and say too that it strikes it hits home on a personal level for me because it's on the same property that 11 years ago I had one of my last world championship matches where I was, chasing the world's junior heavyweight championship, which number 3 may be coming up this year. I don't know, but that it's right there, right next to the building we're in. So I just love everything about this location. And I love that we're bringing all this to the fans, and it's not the corporate, just some guy that doesn't even like the stuff running it. It's somebody that's an actual fan making this ultimate fan experience. And it's just a magical thing, man. So thanks you for everything that you're doing.
Thanks, brother. I appreciate it. But no, that's what I'm going for, man. I've been a Nashville resident for a long time. Actually, here's a funny thing. Why did I pick the Farm Bureau or the Farm Bureau Convention Center?
Why is that?
Because I am actually local. You know darn well, dude, you don't want to go down Music City Center.
No.
Nobody goes there unless you have to go there for work. You don't go there. It's murder. It's terrible to park. It's terrible to do stuff. God forbid you want lunch. You got to spend like $85 on an oyster or something. Yeah, oysters are big. You realize we're in a landlocked state here. I don't know why everybody's eating oysters downtown, bro.
I guess as they move from that place and they want to taste a home, I don't know. I don't want to find out.
But it's like, those oysters came like 1,500 miles to get here. It's not like they're pulling them out of Percy Priest, man.
I don't know if I'd want to eat those then either. I don't think you would eat those. Oh, but man, this is going to be a fun one. And I can't believe that we're already almost here. So if we haven't sold them yet, is there anything else that you could think of that might be a last pitch to bring these people to ICC this year? Because
when are you releasing this?
Fun one. What's that?
When are you releasing this?
It's going to come out on YouTube on May the 4th. And then because it is the 5th ICC, we're going to release the audio version on the podcast feed on Revenge of the 5th. So it's going to come out May 5th.
All right. So then I could give you a spoiler that's not announced yet, but will be announced.
Oh, all right.
Yes. A huge thing. People always think of us like, oh, it's a celebration. It's like celebration, but we are our own thing. We're a fan
Absolutely.
convention, and we are not locked into the same terms as that. So they always go, "Oh, it's a Star Wars convention." So yes, it's a Star Wars convention, but yes, there's other things. So big announcement for you. We are bringing Charlie Cox, Daredevil himself.
Nice.
Yeah, dude, he will be another headliner for ICC Con. I'll be announcing him tomorrow.
All right.
And he will come out here, and he will even bring some Marvel friends. So stay tuned. There are other announcements,
Oh,
and
fantastic.
yeah, we don't have to stay in that pigeonhole of a Star
No.
Wars convention. Also, there's video games. We're also doing a demolition derby. I haven't announced. I could just blab to you, Flynn.
Oh,
Dude,
please
you gotta
do.
call me
Please
other
do.
times, man, because I like talking about this
I
stuff. But
love it.
everybody's like, we're releasing tomorrow, and I'm like, well, I can't tell you that. I can't tell you that. I can't tell you that. But you're releasing a ways out. Dude, we're gonna have a demolition derby. I got a helicopter, bro. We're gonna have a helicopter on site. The National
Man.
Predators are coming out, man.
Woo!
Monsters gonna be handing out free monsters. It's gonna be bonkers, dude.
Oh,
And nobody
got
has
me
any
sold a
idea
monster.
right now.
Right.
Nobody knows.
This is
Nobody
gonna be
knows.
awesome.
You know.
Who knows? Maybe next year when we're
Don't
talking,
tell anybody on the
oh,
internet, but
no, they won't find out till this airs. But who knows? Maybe
yeah.
this time next year, if when we're doing another
Dude,
one of
we're
these.
also getting Steve Bloom's wife. So
Oh, we're getting Mary Elizabeth.
Mary
Fantastic.
Elizabeth. And the thing is Mary Elizabeth is the other half of Cowboy Bebop, man.
Yep. And
So I'm
Governor
really going to use
Price
that
too,
Cowboy
so.
Bebop 25th anniversary, Flynn. I'm telling you, bro.
Man, this
You
is
gave me a great idea.
fantastic. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And who knows? Maybe this time next year, demolition derby, helicopter, might even throw a wrestling ring in there. Who knows? We might can make
Dude,
that happen.
I tried, man. AEW got some show out there and somewhere. Why? You want to do a wrestling ring? Who you know? Let's talk.
We'll talk. I got a guy. I got two guys
I've
that
got
can
the
hook you up.
space, and I'm all about fun stuff, man. Attractions, fun attractions. So we got bands out there, dude. We're even bringing in food trucks this year, so people can get like legit food truck food. It's gonna be bonkers, and nobody really knows all this stuff yet because it's all the big hype stuff at the end.
Right.
And it's gonna be really cool, Flynn. It's a whole different game, man. I can't
wait.
And I don't know if you've been out there recently, but they built this Farm Bureau Convention Center, and it's like top shelf, man.
Oh, it is.
Like every 6 feet in the floor is like a panel you could pick up, and it's got like water, Ethernet power. Like everywhere else we ever been, it's like it's either like a dirt floor down at the rodeo, or it's like a fancy pants hotel where it's like plush carpets, and you're like, where'd that blaster go? It's gone.
Yeah,
you drop an accessory on the floor, forget about it.
That's the truth.
Yeah, dude, no, I'm so excited, and it's gonna be a
same here. Man, that's gonna be a fun weekend.
We're gonna make it big, dude. Yeah,
absolutely. Well, man, thank you so much for taking the time to come on here and just chat with me again. And then, like I said, having me, in the media room, man, I am so grateful for the opportunity, and I just can't wait for the Memorial Day weekend to get here so that we can have some fun and nerd out.
Yeah, dude, I'm psyched myself, man. And thanks for always having me on. I really appreciate it, Flynn. I watch you during the year, and people like you that do the stuff that you do and keep the magic alive or the childhood alive or whatever it is.
I try.
They're extremely important, man. And I appreciate you more than you know. And I appreciate
that means the world. Thank you.
I appreciate you always helping us out and talking nice about us.
Of course.
And if you ever have to talk not nice about us, that's okay too. But
I don't see that happening.
I'll try to never give you a reason. How's that?
I don't see that happening in all honesty.
But no, man, I love it, man. People like you that give legit, honest opinions are top shelf.
Thank you, man. I really appreciate that. And that means the world. So guys, if you haven't got tickets yet, I'm going to have links in the show notes. If you're in the local area, 2 hours, 3 hours driving distance, make that trip down because it's going to be worth it. And while you're in town too, go check out the ICC store. There's going to be something there too. So, I mean, there's something for everybody. And it's just a chance to get back in touch with your inner child, nerd out, and maybe pass it on to the next generation in my case. So
yeah,
you know what? I can
give you one more, man. I can tell you one more. What we're gonna do? Have you been barking the whole time and ruining Flynn's podcast?
I wouldn't say. I think he's added to it.
You're a terrible child. But no, what we're doing is I got a whole bunch of like legit giant buses, and they're ADA compliant and everything. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna run buses back and forth from the venue to the hotels, and then at night on Friday and Saturday, I'm gonna run those buses downtown. So for the attendees, it's going to be like we have a downtown Disney, and it just happens to be downtown Nashville.
Yeah. Oh, that's good.
Yeah, man, it's going to be nuts, dude. And nobody
Broadway
even knows.
Will be
None of this is announced.
Yeah.
Get all the breaking news, Flynn.
Absolutely, man. I feel important right here. So Guys, if you didn't hear him, I know you hear me when I say get those tickets, come out and have a good time and just nerd out and be among your people and just have some fun and celebrate Memorial Day weekend that way too. You can't go wrong.
Yeah.
Mike, seriously, thank you for being on here. And guys, thank you for tuning in again every week. You guys tune in like clockwork, and I greatly appreciate it. You know what to do. Check out the merch, hit the subscribe button, leave a 5-star or written review if you think I've earned it. And don't forget, if you buy some of that merch, it goes to great benefits like the Nashville Humane Society or St. Jude. And then if you get those tickets to ICC, it goes to a great benefit of keeping your inner child alive and having fun. So if you haven't got them yet, I'm going to keep saying it till I beat that horse dead. Get those tickets and then come see the Flynn Hendrix Experience and the I Know You Hear Me podcast in the media room and just have some fun, guys. So for myself, for Mike, we want to thank you for tuning in and listening to us nerd out and promote ICC, and we'll catch you again next week. And I know you hear me. Boom.